Hi, I'm Bernard. Today we're going to go over the 3 most important questions you should ask during your hair extension consultations. And I'm also going to cover the sketches I like to draw when doing a consultation. So those 3 questions are: how did you hear about us? Have you ever worn hair extensions before? And how much do you think they cost? Now let's break those 3 questions down. So the person asking the questions in a consultation is the person in control. When your customer first asks you, do you do extensions, how much they cost, they're controlling the situation or the consultation. By taking control back, by asking these 3 questions, puts you in control. So that first question, how did you hear about us? That lets you know where your marketing dollars are being best spent, if you're marketing at all. Second, have you had hair extensions before? Have you worn hair extensions before? That helps you know so much more about what they really want to know. How much is their experience level? It'll let you know what you should talk to them about during the consultation. The third one is, how much do you think they cost? Customers are always calling the salon saying, or walking in saying, do you do extensions? What do they cost? And usually you just answer and kind of freeze, and they say yes or no and walk out. By getting back in control of the conversation and asking the questions, you become in control and find out much more about what you need to know to talk to them about. So that third one, how much do you think they cost? I usually say extensions can range from very low quality to very high quality, from very low price to very high price. So by asking your customer when they ask you how much do they cost, you say, what do you think they cost? It'll help us get on the same page. If they've done some research on the internet about price and cost and technique, they'll have a rough idea, and it'll help you understand better what you should be talking about during the consultation. 2 of the biggest fears clients have during this consultation is how much it costs and does it cause damage. So one of the things I like to do is draw a few things out on paper, which we'll do on a whiteboard here today, just to show some of the ways extensions don't have to be damaging if done correctly. One of the first things I like to draw is one extension bond. It kind of looks like this. It has about 50 strands of hair is about what I would guess. Mostly it's to explain that you should have at least 50 strands of hair supporting the 50 strands of hair here. Many stylists put very few hairs to support the weight of the extension, thinking that it's going to be smaller, more invisible, more comfortable. In actuality, if there's not enough hair to support the weight, it starts to cause some tension, some stress, little red bumps, irritation, eventually possibly bald spots. So if it's done correctly, you don't have to worry about those problems. The next thing is the difference between a round bond and a flat bond. I've drawn a few here. A round bond takes a section that is a particular width, pulls it in sort of like a ponytail, and then it flares back out down here, not blending as well in this area here. The next thing is a flat bond. If you do a flat bond correctly, the width should stay the same here and all the way through, and it's just a better blend no matter where you are on the bond. The flat bond lays a little closer to the head, it's a little more comfortable, and it just looks more natural. The round bonds tend to be a little ropey at the end, whereas the flat bonds are very natural laying across. So then it comes to application for the stylist when they're putting them in, and this is one of the things we cover in our training classes. The bond should hang at natural fall. There should be a little bit of a space between where it connects to the head and where the bond starts for some free-flowing movement. Every hair should be supporting the weight of the bond the same. The challenge is that too many stylists do mostly 2 things wrong. First one is they put the bond too close to the head. So when they put that bond really tight like this, it pops out, gives it a little bit of volume that is not necessary, because these top few hairs here are being stressed out by pulling a little too much, and the bottom hairs are being pushed into the head, not really supporting any weight at all. And then the next thing that is done is people try to mimic the space done in the first one by pulling way out this way, holding that whole bond out like this, when in actuality it should have been done at natural fall. But when it's done like this and sealed like this, then when it falls, you can kind of see what happens here. The few hairs at the very top are supporting the weight, and none of these other hairs are supporting the weight at all. So that whole section is sort of like this on a person's head. That top hair represents a few hairs across the top that support the weight, and all of these other hairs are not supporting their own weight or even the extension. So then what happens if somebody has finer, thinner hair? They may lose a few of those hairs a little sooner. So some of these hairs here fall out and the weight drops to the next little section until they get irritated and fall out. Before you know it, you have a bald spot or many of them across the head. This doesn't have to happen if they're done correctly. And if that was helpful, head on over to iTunes and download my podcast, The Profitable Stylist, where I go more in depth on how to grow your hair business in general. And if you need to go on over to the website to get it, theprofitablestylist.com.